New bugs, new buggies, and more. Here's everything that we found in the Toxic Tangle update. We started off by checking out something huge, the brand new biome called the Garden. But this isn't even the biggest thing in the park, to be honest, and you'll see what I mean later. Anyway, found in the northeast of the map, this glorious bit of greenery comes packing a bunch of new landmarks that I had to check out, including a greenhouse and a pumpkin patch, as well as new anthills, labs, and ranger outposts, not to mention a whole new quest line. But I won't spoil that for you. Now, to help you cover all that new ground, the Toxic Tangle also adds a brand new rideable buggy and, in the words of Tom Jones, whoa, 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 she's a lady. The Ladybug buggy, well, Lady Buggy, whatever. It's stylish and deadly, boasting a powerful ram attack and an anti-air cannon that I found is ideal for clearing out flying foes. But it's also great for cleaning up Tang, the sour spills that have cropped up all over the place thanks to another one of Ominent's dunder-headed experiments. But Tang, it acts as this new status effect, kind of corroding your armor over time, so you definitely want to blast it off of any friendlies who have gone and got themselves good and tanged. The Ladybug buggy is also the tankiest buggy I've seen so far, with the ability to actually heal itself and a slight resistance to that aforementioned Tang, which I found pretty good, because you're going to need all the help you can get when the masked stranger returns for yet another scrap. But fair warning, this time she actually brought some friends, so I had to go and get a Ladybuggy ASAP to help with that new boss fight. She's a real snake, that masked stranger, but not nearly as much of a snake as the game's latest Colossus, who is an actual, literal snake. It's also the largest Colossus we've seen so far, and you'll find it slithering around the croquet court, which is around here, near the outside wall of the garden. Though, really, you just might be a lot happier if you never find them at all. Now you know where they are, you can dodge them. Of course, the snake isn't the only new critter who's moved into the park. Fortunately, the others are considerably smaller and much less scary. So we found pincher and whipper earwigs, and although sadly we didn't find any cuddler, complimenter, or make you a nice cup of tea for your earwigs, but we do have the very cuddly sounding and quite chic looking woolly aphids. We also found a charmingly rustic rust beetle, and I'll be totally honest here, the totally unserious sounding potato beetle. Potato beetle. But then there are the wasps and the wasp drones, both of whom I found made for great target practice for that nice new anti-air cannon, as well as a fine selection of crickets, who I reckon will come in really handy if we run into any puppet boys in need of moral guidance. Here's what I'm interested in though, because all of these new creatures are made of creature parts, which I could then harvest and turn into new bits of armor. And I'm not going to run through every single new addition to Grounded 2's Buggy Boutique, but I was especially psyched about the snakeskin boots because fashion, and the potato beetle helmet because potato. And of course, yes, you can also turn those bug bits into a whole range of deadly new weapons, including minty, spicy, and venomous varieties of the great arrows, as well as tang bangers and katangers. Plus, the Toxic Tangle also introduces 4 new unique weapons, including a sweet new set of daggers called the Crimson Reapers. But there's also a bunch of returning gear, including the full black ant armor set and sword, as well as the firefly headlamp and the good old rusty spear, which I think is just a much more insulting thing to poke your enemies with than a nice shiny spear. But something else that I wanted to check out was the huge change that Obsidian have made to mutations that I think is just going to totally change the way that I think about my player loadout. So Grounded 2's perks are now divided into 2 categories. We've got active and passive. Active mutations, they work just kind of like they've always done. You equip them and unequip them to shape your build, suit your playstyle, you know how that works. But passive mutations, they work with your weapon set and are applied automatically when you switch equipment, which helps free up a slot and give players more room for customization. And thanks to the Toxic Tangle, there are now 4 more mutations into the mix as well. Hauling Hero returns from Grounded 1, allowing players to just carry way more resources, along with revamped versions of Bardic Inspiration, Sour Sensation, and Whittle Wizard. Now, it's not Little Wizard, but cute. It's whittle, like whittling. The garden is a ripe source of new resources as well, with loads of new stuff for us to harvest. We've got veggies like potatoes, carrots, pumpkin, and key lime, and then things like corn dogs and pretzels, which Personally, I've never been able to grow in my actual garden, but what would you grow in your real life garden if you could? Legally. Anyway, throw in some gloom shrooms, cactus flowers, fertilizer, and chrysalis hide, and we've actually got a really rich selection of new resources to worry about. I mean, where am I going to find the room for all this stuff? On top of that though, a bunch of old resources have made their grand return, so if you've been simply outraged by Grounded 2's lack of pinecone pieces, wood splinters, gunpowder clumps, and lint, never thought I'd miss that, then you can finally calm down, because we found loads. So more stuff to build with also means more stuff to build, including the introduction of hatches. And I'm already imagining all sorts of devious things I could do with these bad boys. There's also a lovely little nest for your ladybug, a pumpkin kit, a reskinned mushroom kit, a thatch awning kit to make your base feel just a little bit homier, an update to the acorn stairs kit, and a ponic patch where you can grow all sorts of soggy, delicious things. They haven't forgotten about making some nice little tweaks that we've been asking for too, like the addition of coordinates on the map menu to help us find our way around, which is so useful, and upgraded weapons now keep their hot pouch assignment, so you don't actually have to do quite so much tinkering, while unique weapons, they can now be crafted from the workbench. So clutch. And archers, you're going to be pleased to know that you can now cancel an arrow after you've drawn it, which is just going to be great for when you begin to line up a shot at the big snake and then, yeah, maybe not. What about you guys? What else have you discovered while playing Grounded 2's latest update, Toxic Tangle? Hit the comments with your favourite new feature, and I'll see you in the park. Bye.